Today is the day. I'm finally gonna do it. Today, April 20th, 2021, I am finally gonna mail back my return of those tight-ass jeans. Yes, I could just go to the store to return them, and yes, I should not have waited until the last possible day that I can mail them back, but I had a really good reason. I'm lazy as f***. If you can relate to this inclination to put things off until the last minute, and you struggle to motivate yourself to complete even the simplest tasks, you're definitely not alone. We all get lazy at times, and we'd rather do anything other than the thing that we actually have to do. For some people, laziness might just be a temporary thing and you might have one lazy day here and there. But for others, laziness can be a lingering problem that interferes with anything that we have to do. So for my fellow lazy people, here are some tips to help us be more productive in spite of our flaws. First, we have to figure out why we are lazy. Now, I like to think that there's some legitimate reasons like burnout from weeks and months of consistent work, but I think that most of the time, the real reason for our laziness is in our mindset or problems that we create for ourselves. I think one reason is obvious. We have way too many distractions in our digital world, and it's up to us to control how it affects our productivity. I'd love to know if Ben Franklin would have been able to do everything that he did if he had to scroll through the nonsense on Twitter every day. I mean, he probably could have. But we all know how strong of a pull that our devices have on us, and we have to be able to put them aside when it's time to work. Another reason is something I have a whole video on, and that's putting things off because we are afraid of failing them. If you think this might be the cause of your laziness, I recommend watching my video, which I'll link to down below. Realize that this is something that's in your own head, and you can try to fix this by forcing yourself to be positive, and by realizing that doing things imperfectly is better than not doing them at all. And we also might be lazy because of our battles with anxiety. Now, this is much harder to change than our mindset or our distractions, but rather than trying to overcome it entirely, which is impossible for most of us, we can do some things to learn to live with it and to not let it prevent us from being productive. In my opinion, a productive day starts the night before, and making sure that we're feeling good and setting ourselves up for success the next day. If we don't have a plan for the next day, it's not going to magically be dropped into our hands when we wake up, and we won't have much motivation to get out of bed. And if we let ourselves stay up too late, we're either going to wake up on time and feel tired and exhausted and less creative and productive, or we're going to wake up late and have less time to do our work and get frustrated with ourselves. It just takes a few minutes at night to give ourselves an advantage for the next day. We all know that we don't have much energy or motivation first thing in the morning, so we'll thank ourselves if we do some small things at night to make our morning easier. For example, you can set up and program your coffee to be ready at a certain time. You can prepare your breakfast like a smoothie or overnight oats and leave it in the fridge. You can pick out your workout clothes if you're someone who likes to exercise in the morning, and you can write down at least one thing that you're excited to accomplish the next day. All of these things minimize the amount of effort that we have to put in the morning, which is usually our laziest time of the day. And this way, we're already somewhat productive the moment that we wake up. It's no surprise that the most productive people are often also the most organized. And that all starts with having a set of goals and a list of things that they need to get done that's unique to each day. I've talked about to-do lists before, but they are the most helpful tool that I've found to keep myself on track. Now, you can use your notes app on your phone for this, or you can physically write it down, but either way, it's important to acknowledge exactly what we want to accomplish if we want to be consistently productive. You can have lists for each individual day of the week, as well as a list of things that need to get done at some point, but not necessarily at a specific time. And whatever you put on your lists, it's important to make sure that your goals are attainable. Trying to do too much in one day will overwhelm you, and having a few tasks that you know you can check off will make you feel good and productive. But don't make the tasks too easy that they distract you from your real and bigger goals. This is called productive procrastination. Sometimes we can trick ourselves into thinking that we're productive when we're really still putting off the important things. While we do get a dopamine boost from checking off anything on our to-do list, we have to value quality over quantity if we want to be genuinely productive. If you have a bigger task like writing a long paper or book, or making a film or video, it helps to plan out exactly how much you're going to write or which part of the video that you're going to work on. Doing a little bit each day helps us to tackle the more daunting and time-consuming tasks in the same way that cleaning our spaces a little bit each day prevents us from having to do a massive cleaning all at once. We can do all the preparation in the world, but when it comes down to it, It's all worthless if we can't get ourselves to actually get the work done. Now, if you're someone like me and you find yourself working best in inconsistent bursts of energy, it's important that you don't lose focus and complete your entire task when you do feel these spontaneous moments of creativity. Another option is to adopt what is called the Pomodoro technique. This is where you do nothing but work for 20 minutes and then you give yourself a 5-minute break, and you repeat this process until you're finished. It's also helpful to make sure that you're being held accountable for what you have to do. And if you're self-employed or in school, try to set deadlines for yourself and specific days that you're going to complete things by, so that you're not always saying, I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll do it next week. And you also might want to have an accountability partner, or at least tell somebody what you're going to do and when you're going to do it by. It's really easy to let ourselves down, but we have an extra incentive to get things done when we involve somebody else because we don't want to let them down. And one more good rule to follow is that if something on your list takes less than 5 minutes to do, just get it done. It barely takes up any of your day, and you'll be so glad to not have it hanging over your head anymore. At the end of the day, we should take a few minutes to think over how productive our day was and how many to-dos we were able to check off. If we're happy with what we've done, we can be proud of ourselves and we can look forward into bringing that same energy into tomorrow. Or if we're not happy with how our day went and we felt like we were slacking off, we can use that as motivation to have a better and more productive tomorrow. Our laziness might not ever go away completely unless we're really passionate about what we're doing, or we have a really strict deadline that we fear the consequences of not meeting. But instead of only doing things when it gets to this point, we can push ourselves to make some smaller adjustments that help us fight this laziness and help us be more consistently productive. This might mean that we need to eliminate all of our distractions and put our phone down. It might mean that we need to work in a dedicated office or a library or a coffee shop whenever we can so that we're free from all the distractions of our home. We don't have to go cold turkey with our laziness and the things that we like to lose ourselves in, but we should use our distractions and our relaxing time as a reward for getting things done so that we don't feel guilty about it and it doesn't interfere with our work. As with any self-improvement topic, if we're not happy with where we are, we can watch as many videos and take in as much inspiration as we can, but ultimately, it's up to us to push ourselves to make real changes to live a life that we're proud of. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you all have much more productive days and weeks ahead. See you next time.